Now, President Ramaphosa is expected to be appointing a cabinet very soon. In fact, over the last couple of days, the president was engaged and has been engaged in various conversations with coalition partners in the formation of cabinet. However, Wayne Duvenage of OUTA believes that there are certain ministers who should not return to this cabinet, one of which is Bladen Nzimande, who was the Minister of Higher Education, as well as the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, that is Minister Gwede Mantashe. Sindisiwe Chikunga was the Minister of Transport, Wayne also believes should not be returning. What was so sinful, Wayne, about these three ministers that they should not be returning?
Yeah. Hi, good evening. Yeah, look, we've done a lot of research. We've engaged with whistleblowers. We've laid a number of charges presented in Parliament. And as far as we're concerned, specifically in these three ministries, there has been a lot of maladministration, a lot of procurement irregularities, corruption, and we believe this under the watch of these three ministers who appear to be closely connected with some of the problems requires that they should not be fulfilling their roles going forward. These three ministries, by the way, are very influential in the economy of South Africa.
At what point, Wayne, do we draw a distinction between the role of accounting officers and the role of executive office bearers in, let's say, things like irregular tenders as well as miscontracting? I'll give an example here. When a transport contract is given out for the repairs of the rail network of PRASA, how much involvement does the Minister of Transport have in that process as opposed to the Director General of that department?
Well, they have a lot of say and oversight. So if there are gross irregularities and these things are brought to the minister's attention and the executive's attention in those departments and nothing is done about it. In fact, what we've seen sometimes is the ministers actually defend what has been happening. And so we've seen serious problems in transport and specifically in the Department of Higher Education, where the minister was directly involved in appointing Andile Nongogo, the CEO of NSFAS, and the chairperson, Mr. Khoza, both of them who have now had to leave those positions as a result of the exposure of gross maladministration and tampering and interfering with procurement practices. And yet the minister himself was quite defensive and supporting them until eventually had to give in because the fire got too hot in the kitchen from the exposure that we've had. The things around DMRE with Gwede Mantashe, he has on a number of occasions over many years now said that they will fix the cadastral system, and they have not done so. And that cadastral system is required. This is the one where you need transparency around mining rights, around prospecting rights. If you speak to the investment community in the mining industry, they say that South Africa has no transparency there.
But how didn't you account for and how do you evaluate the appraisal of Minister Gwede Mantashe when you look at Petro South Africa, for instance, which for the first time in the last decade has been able to turn a profit in the last two fiscals, as well as expand its business on the continent and making great strides in opening up the refineries that they own in Richards Bay?
Well, there's a lot of work to still be done, but we've asked a lot of questions and seek transparency in Petro SA's revenue streams. For instance, the contracts. Who has the contracts for the diesel supply to provide the diesel for the generators at Eskom? There's a lack of transparency. We want information, and he hasn't done so. I mean, Gwede Mantashe, by the way, has been very clearly implicated in state capture. And there are a number of issues that require Gwede Mantashe to answer to, and he doesn't do so. I mean, there was a civil society representative on the nuclear regulator board, and yet that person was removed. And Gwede Mantashe lost that case, and he was told to put the individual back into that board, and he hasn't done so. I mean, he's acting out of line.
And of course, there was that big loss in the courts, again sustained by the Supreme Court of Appeal just 2 weeks ago on the Shell exploration license. But to this, Wayne, why should Bekicele not come back?
Well, Bekicele is clearly, I mean, if you see what is happening in our murder rates, just the whole crime situation in this country, the infiltration into the police, organized crime, when you look at the construction mafia, Crime is out of hand in this country. He keeps throwing people at the problem instead of leadership at the problem. As far as we're concerned, the general public do not feel safe in their homes, do not get the service that is required from the police, and it hasn't got better, it's got worse under his watch. So we don't believe that he is one that should be coming back as well.
Yeah, we know several other ministers are not coming back, such as Pravin Gordhan, because he has retired. Ibrahim Patel has also bowed out. So several others are not going to come back due to that. But who should make it back?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's going to be a lot of choice now for the president, and mixing it up with other parties. It's going to be interesting to see who he puts in and who he brings back. As far as we're concerned, one minister that does stand out that should be given another term is Senzo Mchunu of Water and Sanitation. I think it was handed a poison chalice from Nomvula Mokonyane and his predecessors, who really did a bad job in making sure that we provided water infrastructure for future generations. So Mchunu's doing a lot of good work, him and his DG, Sean Phillips. And we don't want that work to stop. We were doing some good work in the water space as well under our WaterCan brand, and we see good work from Mchunu. So he should stay. We think Macheka in education needs to go. Been there a long time. We are going backwards when it comes to producing kids that are employable out of school. So we've got a lot of work to do in education, and we believe Macheka goes well.
Wayne Duvenage, OUTA CEO, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate those insights. Of course, we'll refer back to those as a cabinet is being appointed, expected to be announced tomorrow.